Yukichi Fukuzawa was a pioneer in introducing Western ideas to Japan in the second half of the 19th century. One area in which he made a particular contribution was the position of women. Fukuzawa lost his father, who was a low-ranking samurai when he was only 18 months old. Plunged into financial hardship, his widowed mother was left to bring up 5 children. As he was growing up, Fukuzawa watched his mother and older sister's struggles. This encouraged him to reflect on the situation of women born to samurai families. When he was 23 by Western reckoning, Fukuzawa came across a moral primer for women that he came to see as a symbol of their oppression. This was The Great Learning for Women, a work attributed at the time to Ekiken Kaibara, a prominent Confucian scholar of the 17th to early 18th centuries. The Great Learning taught women to follow the 3 obediences: to their fathers when young, their husbands after marriage, and their sons in widowhood. It also promoted the 7 reasons for divorce, which included the failure to bear a son. Fukuzawa was highly critical of the negative message of such teachings and later wrote to a friend that he wanted to write a companion volume, The Great Learning for Men, that would censor the immoral behavior by husbands that the Great Learning ignored. True to his word, in many of his books and writings, he presented powerful arguments for the equality of men and women, and encouraged men to understand the unfairness of the current situation by seeing it through women's eyes. Fukuzawa believed that the lack of suitable employment was the major cause of women's dependence on men, and was involved in several attempts to develop job opportunities for them in the 1870s. For example, he established a tailoring and laundry service on the compound of Keio, the educational institution that he had established in Tokyo, so that women could use their existing skills to earn money. In addition, he encouraged the study of both the Western science of obstetrics and industrial silk reeling techniques of the Tomioka Silk Mill, a model factory that had been established by the government. Fukuzawa considered that modern societies could only develop in environments that fostered relationships between their individual members. In a series of newspaper articles of 1886 entitled On Relations Between Men and Women, he therefore promoted the idea that civilized men and women should be able to mix socially. The natural attraction that drew them together would lead them to learn from each other in mutually beneficial ways. He organized social events such as tea parties and musical performances at Keio and in his home so that women could gather and exchange ideas, both with each other and in mixed company. The Jiji Shimpo, the newspaper that he had founded in 1882, carried articles that compared the relations of men and women in the West and Japan and caricatures criticizing Japanese customs, including the taking of concubines, in order to display one's high status. However, despite these efforts, his views did not easily gain social acceptance. Fukuzawa's last work was the twin publication in 1899 of a critique of the Great Learning for Women and A New Great Learning for Women, in which he first criticized the original Great Learning point by point, and then proposed new guidelines to enable women to live as individuals within Japanese society. When Fukuzawa collapsed as the result of a severe stroke in January 1901, 5 copies of the 12th printing of this book were found, each containing the handwritten message, "Men should also read this book." Yukichi Fukuzawa, 1901. since he passed away 10 days later without regaining consciousness, one can truly say that he devoted himself until the last to the struggle to bring about equality between men and women.